What's going on, Joey?
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good to see you.
You too. Long time no see since what, a week or two ago in Miami.
Exactly, yeah. Just setting up the camera and everything here. How was your trip back?
It was good, man. Trip back, went to Logan's event, did a podcast with him, and met some people there. And the journey continues. I guess here we are.
Yeah, every day learn something new, meet somebody cool, and add to your portfolio of tricks and hacks and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. What about you? What are you up to?
Going to start a new marketing blast, actually, calls, texts, all kinds of new stuff, including direct mail and in Texas and Northeast Florida.
Okay.
So I'm looking for that. Looking to do, I'd love to do two more subdivides this year. I did
Nice.
my first one this year and finishing that up, selling those off, almost done.
How's the first one going officially? That was a Texas subdivide, right?
Yeah, Texas subdivide, 306 acres. We took it and split it up into 10 to 18 acre lots, 26 of them, and very, very happy with the results. It's been a learning experience, but obviously, you've been the cornerstone for helping us out with walking us through the process, and very, very happy. I'd say we're probably 85% done selling it out, and trying to tweak a few things to get the next one like more cookie cutter, which your team, your group, mastermind, and your expertise has been very instrumental in that.
What I think you got, I can't remember, some stupid deal on that. It was like 1,050 or $1,100 per acre on the buy side.
Yeah, we got it actually, I think, close to not so far off from assessed value, um, which
Which
is
I
kind of
remember
unusual.
too, that property was in CRP, which of course that's a conservation reserve program. If you want to subdivide, you need to get it out of that program. And you somehow worked the agreement with the seller that he would pay those costs out of closing. And I can't remember what those costs were. You may remind me, but they were like something crazy, like tens of thousands of dollars. I think like 60 or 70 G's.
Yeah, and that's the first time I even heard about that. And I was a little bit shocked, actually. Even the title office didn't really know about it. And they were like going on as if it's no big deal. And I'm like, it is a big deal because the CRP program, just like you said, my understanding, and I've learned all this through this deal, it's a government program that allows the owners to receive monies every year from the government for not developing that property, not, I guess, farming it and whatever, crop rotation program or something. I don't even remember the name of it. CRP, like you said. And the problem with that, which I don't like to use the word problem, but it is problem. If you finish that transaction, and it continues as it was going to continue with the way things were going, even though in the contract I put in there that they would take it out of the program before or at closing so that we're not stuck with that liability because it becomes a liability. What happens is if you buy the property, my understanding, and it's still in the program, then you have to continue that program or you're due a penalty for taking it out before it finishes. There's like a time period, I don't know, 5, 7 years or so. And if our goal is to sell these lots and they can do whatever they want. But if it's still in that program, it's kind of like a loan in some ways. The government has given this money with expectation that the owner will continue in that program. But if it doesn't, like there's owners that do something with it, then it's a liability on us. And even the title office was not fully aware of how that works, and I had to really ask around. And it's a very secretive thing as far as showing what the what the existing owner has. So if you contact any CRP office, I mean, it's like if you're
Won't
contacting
give
a
you the
lender,
info. Yeah, they won't give you the
they
info.
don't tell you anything. They don't want to tell you anything. They don't want to say how much they're getting paid, when is it expired. They won't tell you anything. So it's like a liability, but you don't even know how much or when it's due and everything. So
I think it's
fortunately, through a good ethics of the seller, we had fortunate that the sellers had good ethics. That we're able to negotiate not just in writing, but them to actually complete that obligation that they would take it out. And they were not going to until the last minute. And he said, look, there is going to be a liability, even though the title office thinks that there wasn't. And so fortunately they paid, I think it was like $87,000
damn.
from close out of a $350,000 sale. So, good people, good ethics, and I commend them on that. They had great integrity and we had it all taken care of.
So it was, call it 350K, all said and done, purchase price for how many acres? 300,
306.
3.6. So 350,000 for 306 acres. That's like 1150 per acre. Plus you got it free and clear from the CRP. Do you know what you think you'll end up doing gross sales on this?
That's a good question. So when we went to sell them, and we had spreadsheets, we went over that together, me and you, and thank you for sharing your advice and insight on that. Uh, the reason I don't have final numbers is because we've sold a lot of the notes. So basically, just for whoever's going to be viewing this, we sold some cash and some owner financing. And the
Yep.
ones that we sold owner financing, I mean, the total numbers seem amazing, but the final numbers are still great. They're just not that total because you're selling some of these notes at a discount. Um, so I think the total was, and this is just total, but it's not the actual net. The total gross, I think, was like 1.5 or so
Dang.
um, gross. But the net probably, I would guesstimate, is a little bit early. We're not finally done, but I would say probably 500-600 or so net after everybody's paid and said and done and all that, and we've settled everything and cash out notes and things like that. But it was, I mean, for a 1 year project,
Yeah, it's not
uh,
bad.
yeah, it's not bad.
Well, I mean, you're into it for 350. If you net even 500, I mean, that would be a gross of 850 after cash sales, after discounts, after working the
Right.
notes, whatever. So, I mean, if you looked at it from a pure gross perspective, I think you're right. It probably would come in somewhere well north of a million, just pure gross numbers. And then by the time you net it all out, probably somewhere a little bit under a million, and you walk away with an over a double. For a year's worth of work. Do you have that plat? Do you mind sharing that? Can we pull that up? Like, I want to. It's been a
Yeah.
while since I've seen that because it was actually this is all just 10+ acre lots, and I think you created that plat. You had to do some water investigation. Would there be groundwater? How do you want to plat it out? Working with, I think, did you have to work with the county on that at all, or did they just let you like, oh, 10+, you're good?
Yeah, I'm happy to share all that, no problem. And let me share my screen. I'll share, I think probably on our website we have just about everything on it.
There we
Let's
go. I
see.
like your website too. You made a good landing page for it,
Thank
basically.
you. Yeah, so it's here on properties at mrmeyer.com, and it's always a work in progress. We're always tweaking and improving it.
That thing
So
the plat looks sick. Like you got the Google Earth right there, like the mix in.
yeah, I guess I'm just too analytical, and I look at like what's the best I could find on the market. Let me try and copy and improve that, or do something similar with my twist on it. But it's a work in progress. We're always improving it. Um, So we did, the key USPs, unique selling proposition, zero closing costs. We'll cover all the closing costs. There's no commissions, no interest, zero. This is for the owner financing.
Mhm.
This is the overview. This is our specials that we've got going on. 10-acre lots, ranchettes, 1,500 down, 499 a month, 61, 380 is the total. Or they could do a cash discount price. So this is the value 61, cash discount price 39.9. And they practically have no restrictions. That's the benefit for Texas above 10 acres outside of city limits, do a home, business, storage, farm. And this is
I
the
just want people to realize that your cost basis on that sucker is literally like $1,200, and you're got it listed and you're selling it there for 40,000. or
Yeah, well, $1,200
twelve
per
hundred
acre.
an acre. Yeah,
Right, right, right.
$12,000 for yeah,
Yeah.
$12,000 for a 10-acre lot that you're selling for 40.
It's not bad, not bad at all.
Well,
Uh, I mean, there's obviously a lot of things that go into it, but we had a lot of Facebook marketing, some vendors from the surveyor and whatnot, drilling, testing, water, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, there is big benefit, and I think a lot of people that are successful in business are using a similar concept of buying in bulk and selling off pieces, whether it's commodities like sugar or wheat or whatever it is. They're buying large quantities and then they sell it off in pieces. So this is the magic here in this business is you buy this large parcel, then you split it off and sell off smaller pieces so that it's easier for the buyers to buy. It's still affordable from both sides, and it really works. And so this is the plat here. We put a transparent overlay on the exact Google Maps so people can get a pretty good idea of what generally it's looking on Google Maps. And these are the 10 acres here. We've got a couple 15, a 16, some 18. They all have direct road frontage. These are called flag lots.
nice.
Um, and yeah, so these are flag lots, this 18 acre here. And we overlaid where the power line is from Excel Energy so they can get an idea. And a lot of buyers didn't really care. They're going to do solar or whatever. So that's fine. Yeah, and that's it. What other questions you got, John?
I'm just curious how those back ones sold for you. I mean, I see you still got some left on the county road, but it seems a lot of people were interested in the bigger acreage in the back, even if it didn't have a direct road going back there. They had their flag.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the larger lots tended to go quick. In fact, ironically, we had the first two sales were lot 25 and 26, which are 16 and 15 acres. And it was a very smart move from one family because they are adjacent to each other and they give you flag lot access, direct road access to each of the roads. But they had to back out of one of them, some family issues, and good people. And like you said, a lot of the buyers are really looking for the big acres. I was kind of surprised. You would think, the more affordable, smaller, but some of the buyers for the 10 acres actually wound up coming in and buying two up front or buying one now and one later. Like they buy one for cash or bank financing, then pick up the one next to it. They want to lock up the one next to it as soon as possible for owner financing. So a lot of people kind of want to secure their, I guess, future by buying some decent size acreage, like you said.
Interesting. Well, honestly, in the group, this was one of my, if not my favorite deal, because I'm fascinated by the fact that you got the CRP out at closing because I do a lot of look at a lot of land that's in CRP, and I just this is just such a big plat exempt, nice size, 300 acres. Just goes to show that it is possible to do larger, which this is. I would say it's not super big, but it's big. It's pretty big. It's pretty good size, like that size without crazy platting approvals, and basically just a survey and make a bunch of money.
Yeah, and kudos to you, John. I've worked with a lot of different gurus and a lot of different coaches, but I really like your style. You're very down to earth. You're very approachable. We had, I think, a couple meetings specifically on this, and we both learned some things. Certainly, I learned a lot more. But we shared ideas and we help each other. And I've learned tremendous amount on this deal from you, walking through the process. And I was not in a rush to do any more until I got this one done right because I want to make sure my investors were whole. And they've already been paid back. They've been paid back in full. We have two investors on this, and they've made a profit, and we're looking to improve constantly how we do things so that it's better for all parties, from the buyer, from the seller, from the investor. And it's a learning process. It's a work in progress.
Heck yeah. Well,
So yeah,
that
we got
that's
our first.
awesome. Congrats to you and the investor. Like the investors, you took people's money, they trusted you with it, and boom, you gave them a badass project in return.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. We actually did a couple billboards. I never thought that I would, but just when I flew out there, Texas, drove the area over and over, and I kept seeing billboard after billboard for different things, and even a couple few vacant billboards. I'm like, wait a second, this is Yeah, I thought about it, like, this is a property in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's not like in a major city. I'm personally in Florida. I'm not there. We don't have an office there. We don't have an agent on the ground. We don't have people there. How do we establish credibility? And I just thought over and over again, why don't I couple the Facebook marketing with the billboard? Because I think they'll complement each other.
Yep.
Billboard is more, real, credible on the ground. Facebook is like you have amazing reach with people virtually. So I think this definitely helped complement the Facebook advertising, the online advertising. And yeah, here's a couple. They're not massive size. They're smaller billboards, but they're still quite effective. This one and this one, and yep. And we've got our first video testimonial. This is the location map.
I like it. Dang.
Yeah. FAQ. And the idea for the FAQ was we wanted to kind of put out there, make it formal, make it professional, the common things that people are going to look for. And I kept modifying and adding over this past year. Like, for example, category for the properties, flag lot. Flag lot, a lot of people don't know what it was or is. I didn't know what it was. And so you explained it to me. And actually, if you think about it, there are some benefits for flag lots. Some people love or prefer them. And so from a marketing standpoint, I put this on here so that I can reference it if they ask, or if I'm explaining it, that it's like a long flagpole. They still have direct road access. And some people prefer because they can do a long private grand driveway or entrance, right? With trees or orchids or, flowers or whatever they want, right? Yeah, it's true. And now they can have privacy in the back. So for some people, it's actually a benefit. So if you look at the overview here and these flag lots, imagine they can now these two are one buyer and they bought both of them adjacent to each other, and these flag lots back up to each other. They're planning to fence the whole thing in. So if they fence this whole thing in, they can make an amazing grand driveway entrance to both of them.
Yeah.
And that would be like a mansion, a business, whatever they want in the back, and it's so private.
I like it. I like the diagram too on the thing that is on the website. That is, I've never even thought of doing that. I may have to do that myself. I lot
Well,
FAQ.
the beauty with the mastermind is we learn from each other. And actually, I remember like one of my favorite gurus, Ron LeGrand. He says he's learned so much from his students, and that's so true. Some of the best teachers are amazing, such as yourself, because they're open to learn, and you learn from your students, and now you're so much better because you share that. Some teachers or gurus out there, they're just lecture, lecture, lecture. But unlike you are different, where you're in the field, you're doing so many deals, and you're constantly communicating and engaging with your students. So that makes you so much better, and as not just an investor, but also teaching us. You know.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you and your willingness to share this, and just the ability to be open and receptive, and just obviously worked in your favor. This was a killer deal for all parties involved, and so I don't think you can really get much better than this, honestly.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I owe it all to you, and I'm looking forward to years and years to come with learning from you, and hopefully we can do some deals together. And there's so much opportunity out there we don't even know about. This was a deal that was created. It was not a deal that was necessarily there. We had to go find it. We had to market for it. But this is the genius about this business is you're actually making or creating a deal. You're doing forced appreciation.
I like that.
So
It's
yeah.
not, it wasn't, it was created. I like that.
Exactly.
Well, sweet, man.
Exactly.
Appreciate it. And if you ever need anything from me, just let me know.
Awesome. Love you, John. Thank you.
Thanks, Joey.